Good morning, everyone. My name is Carla, and you've reached my FlossTube channel, Carla being Crafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. When I have a little wing here. Okay, today is my FlossTube number 150, and it is Sunday. It's July 17th. Welcome to all of you who are finding my channel for the very first time. I hope that you like what you see, want to hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And for those of you that are returning viewers, thank you so much. I don't know why I'm like doing my little twisty thing here. For those of you that are returning FlossTube friends, thank you so much for coming back and spending this time with me each week. I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to my brother Aaron. Those of you who've been watching my channel for a while have seen him in kind of extra videos and vacation vlogs and stuff like that. His birthday was yesterday. I was supposed to go over there this weekend to hang out with him and celebrate his birthday, and unfortunately this week the whole household basically got sick. Not COVID or anything like that, but they came back from vacation last Sunday, I think it was. And the little one started with a sore throat and ear infection, and then the big one got it, and then the middle one got it, and then Stacy got it. And actually yesterday Aaron woke up with a sore throat in the morning. So they all have some kind of creeping crud that it just kind of went through their house. And I decided probably on Thursday that going over there was probably not a good idea. And it's a good thing because everybody was worn out and tired, and so I missed my brother's birthday, but I'm going over there next week. I told you guys about it last week that I'm actually going over there on Thursday night and taking off Friday because they are resurfacing all of the asphalt in my apartment complex next week. And on Thursday and Friday, it's the section where I park and no cars can go in or be there or park or anything like that. So yeah, so it's not even like I could park my car and get picked up for work or anything like that. So I just decided that I will leave early on Thursday and go to work because I have to be out by 7. And then after work on Thursday, I'm just going to go over to my brother's and take a personal day on Friday and hang with them. So it'll make up for not being able to be there this weekend, hopefully. We did actually instead, since I wasn't going to be there, we played D&D on Zoom, which is always fun. And yeah, so anyway, happy birthday to Aaron, and I hope he had a good day, even though he wasn't feeling well. I know they had a nice steak dinner that he probably barbecued on the grill, but he wasn't like, you know, sick in bed sick. He just wasn't feeling great. So hopefully he got a lot of relaxation time. So want to give a Zoom reminder. So after I go to my brother's, I'm going to leave Saturday around noon to get home in time for my 2 o'clock Zoom call. And so I want to remind you guys, because this is the last reminder that I can give you before the call actually happens. And so anybody who's interested, please remember to message me sometime this week so that I can give you the ID and the code and stuff. I always worry, like, especially when they're on a Saturday, that like nobody's gonna come on because you know, I don't get that many requests. I've had like 2 or 3 so far, but then everybody ends up messaging me the last week, and we've ended up with 9 or 10 people every week, so, or every Zoom, every month, I guess. So I don't know why I'm worrying about it, but you know, it's that idea that you're gonna give a party and no one's gonna come. But hopefully we'll have a nice fun call like we have several times already, and I am looking forward to it. So anybody that's interested, please just message me on Instagram, private message me on Instagram, and I can send you that information. You know, I'm the only reason I'm asking people to message me is I just don't want to publicly on YouTube publish the code to get into the call. I feel like it's just my minimal way of screening and making sure that the people who come onto the call are actually stitchers who watch my channel and there's not gonna be any like weirdness or predatory people on there or trying to get on there. So so that's why, I mean, I'm not screening anybody who asks, obviously, because you guys are stitchers, but that's why I'm requiring this second level of security, I guess. So anyway, so please message me if you are all interested in joining us. And just as a caveat, you know, message me even if you're not sure, because I know stuff happens. I know, like, you know, you may want to go on and then, you know, and then you don't feel like it, or you forget, you know, that's fine. But at least if you message me and you get the codes and stuff, then you have the option. And I always say I will try and check my Instagram and stuff prior to the Zoom and during the, and the reality is that I intend to do that and I don't always do it because I forget, or I'm getting involved in the Zoom, or whatever reason. In fact, my best friend couldn't find the codes last time, and by the time I realized that, you know, I was wondering, why isn't she on? And finally I checked my messages and it's like, oh, she had messaged me. She's like, I couldn't find the number, send them again. And by that time it's like she was having dinner. It was like too late. She couldn't even get on the meeting. So so please do request the codes, even if you have, you know, if you don't know that you're going to be able to go, because it's I won't be like upset if you request and then don't show up. It's just, you know, stuff happens, and I know that my Zoom calls, well, fun, I think, are not always going to be the top priority. So anyway, just a reminder, so please message me on Instagram. Okay, I don't really have any like life stuff to tell you this week. It's been just a normal, you know, week, working and coming home and stitching and going to sleep and getting up the next day and doing the same thing. We've had warm weather in Southern California, although we're in that kind of, I mean, I know it's July, but we're in that June gloom thing that we seem to have at the beginning of the summer, where it's like kind of overcast, and it's not ever really cold, but it's like overcast and kind of weird looking until about 11 or 12, and then it burns off, and then it's a hot day. So, yeah, it's just been a normal week. So I'm trying to think, do I have anything exciting to tell you? No, nothing exciting. Okay, so let's get into the stitching and the crafting. And I do have a little golden book to show you this week that I completed yesterday while I was on the Zoom call. I was working on it. This is for my friend Tracy, and so I talk about her all the time, and if you've been on the Zoom calls actually recently, you've met her. She's my best friend. She lives in Pittsburgh. I just finished that bird for her that I still haven't sent, but partly I haven't sent it because I was waiting to finish the little golden book journals that I was making for her and for her partner, and I finally finished hers, so here it is. I asked her what her favorite, you know, like Disney Pixar type story would be, something that I could get in a golden book, and she said Inside Out, so that's what I made. I did it with kind of like tones of purple and green, and just a quick little flippy through. I mean, all this stuff is basically, you know, you guys have seen my style, and there's nothing much different. So this came out really good on hers. I'm having trouble with this, doing this page on some of them. So some of them do not come out as well, but this one came out really good. And then just, I love sticking in all the little treats and tuck-ins, and this page, which I really like, which I am putting in all my books, is like, this seems to be the biggest hit with everybody that's gotten one. That's the page they're really impressed by. This, I love this. This looks really cool, I think. So I like putting in the ribbons and all of the ribbons and the tuck-ins. Are they sticking? Those are my favorite things. So like I do all the beginning stuff, and then the very last, and then the sewing together is probably like my least favorite part because it's kind of a pain, but it's like difficult. Not difficult, it's fiddly. But then I get to fill the book with all the fun stuff, and I like doing that. I like putting the ribbons on and filling the book. So, okay. And this is nice because I have a lot of tuck-ins and stuff that say kind of like personally type things, like I love you and I miss you, and you know, and there's romantic-y type things too, which I don't have anybody to put that in. But I mean, obviously if I'm making a book for somebody that's just a friend or an acquaintance or whatever, I can't put in the I love yous and I miss you cards, but I can for Tracy. So I've got some of the I miss yous in here and a couple I love yous, and because she's like basically my sister, my chosen sister, let's say it that way. So yeah, so anyway, I was really happy to finally get this done. I was just at the point where I had to like sew it together and put in all the fun stuff because I had done a lot of the prelim stuff. I do my books in stages. Somebody asked me how long it takes to do one, and it's really hard to like say because I don't do it from like start to finish. I do a bunch of spines on one night, and then I'll pick, like, usually it's 2 books. I'll pick 2 books on an evening, and then I'll pull all the papers for those books. And sometimes I just pull the papers and set them aside, and sometimes I pull the papers and I cut them and I fold them and I do all of that stuff and then kind of put my signatures together. But sometimes it's a 2-step process. Sometimes it's pulling the papers and then putting the signatures together, and sometimes it's pulling the papers and putting the signatures together all in one evening. And I usually do it for more than one book. I have usually one session where I take a bunch of books and I cut them apart and I prepare the covers, you know, do the corners and do the grommets and stuff like that. So, and then, you know, finally the last 2 stages, I guess, is taking those signatures and sewing them into the books and adding the buttons, which, as I said, is kind of fiddly. And then there's the stage of decorating all the inside pages with ribbons and whatever. And then when everything's all put together, I do a final decoration of stuff, and I just fill it with as much tuck-ins and things as I can find that I think would be cute for the book and the theme and the person and everything like that. So it's kind of a process that I usually have more than one book happening at a time. Like Jason's book, which is her partner, it's all like the signatures are done and mostly decorated, and the covers are prepared and stuff, but I haven't put the spine on yet. I obviously haven't sewn it in, and then the whole tuck-in thing. So anyway, I'm enjoying doing this. I sent the 2 that I made for Michelle Bendy Stitchy and her daughter. I sent them, and she received them last weekend, and I think on her her video from yesterday, she showed the one that I sent her, which was the Star Wars one that I showed you guys. And yeah, so I think they really like them, which feels great. And then, you know, so I'm enjoying making these, and I'm enjoying giving them away. I definitely have plans to make some to give away on this channel over Hanukkah when I do my FlossNukkah 2022. There will definitely be some little gold book giveaways. So when I get around to those, I will show you. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet. If I'm going to have people sign up like before those start, if I'm going to have people sign up on the videos, I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do it is, because I kind of want to draw them during those videos, but that means I need to have a list of names. So yeah, so I think I'm going to have one of the videos prior to starting all that. I'm going to ask you guys to put in a code word at that point, and then I'll draw names during the FlossNukkah video. So there's 8 nights. I don't know if I'll be able to get 8 books done, but we'll see. we will see. Okay, so anyway, that is my little golden book update. Okay, so on to whips for the week. I do have a new start, but I'm going to leave it to the end because it's the stitching situation thing. stitching the situation thing, and I want to kind of go over that in its own section. So I'm just going to go to whips for now. So what did I work on this week? On Wednesday, because it's, you know, Chatelaine Wednesday, and I haven't gotten any of my Chatelaine stuff yet, or my European cross stitch. Although, so anybody who's in kind of like the same boat as me and has ordered stuff from European cross stitch and hasn't gotten it and is wondering what's going on, I did see on a post somebody on one of the Chatelaine Facebook groups said that they finally got their stuff. And of course, whenever anybody says, oh, I finally got my stuff, then at least one person's like, when did you order it? Because I'm waiting. So apparently that person ordered their stuff in like March or early April and just got it. And then I can't remember the lady's name, but the lady who runs the European cross stitch actually chimed in, and she said that she'd just gotten the dinky dyes and the some other dyer for the April orders. So I think that they have received all of the supplies for the April orders. So April is going out. I ordered all my stuff in early to mid-May. I actually put in 4 orders, so I'll probably get stuff in 4 chunks. I won't get it all at once. But I ordered everything in May. So they just got all the April stuff in, then they're still, I'm sure, waiting for some of the supplies for May, and but I should be like in the next wave. So I'm still hoping that I might get it. Okay, that was my cat having a dream. Peggy. He is out. Okay. Okay. He's doing the little paw thing. Anyway, so I'm hoping I'll get my stuff by my birthday, because that would be a really cool birthday gift to get. But in the meantime, I did these 2 pieces. And the other chatelaine that I have on the go is another like little, used to be free, now it's $5 pattern, which is called Italian Street Cats. And so I did work on this on Wednesday. I finished pretty much the middle. I added a cat here. There was a dog there that I stitched and I just didn't like it. It looked weird. So I turned it into a little cat, and I did some more of the lemons. So basically the rest of it is just lemons all the way across with these corner things and the leaves, and maybe a little bit more of the gold outlining. So I pulled this out on Wednesday for Chatelaine Wednesday and did a little bit on it. This one is a little fiddly, which I'm sure that when I get into the big Chatelaines, which I'm not doing a big Chatelaine, I'm doing a medium size or a small Chatelaine. That's what I ordered. But I'm sure there's going to be parts in that are a little fiddly too. And sometimes when you get into the fiddly stuff, it's like I'm not feeling as enthusiastic about it. But I'm still enjoying it. So I do want to get that one finished eventually, and I'm not worrying about rushing on it because, you know, I have until I get all my other stuff. Okay, I worked on the Butterfly Duo Needlepoint Little Dimensions kit one night, and I finished all of the regular stitching, so none of the back stitching or none of the back stitching or anything like that yet. I started the back stitching, like I got some of the back stitching on the wing there and stuff, and a little bit up in here I did some of this back stitching, but there's a lot actually on this thing. The wings are supposed to be completely there's all kinds of veins and stuff on the wings. And I didn't do these red stitches. We talked about that before. I just don't think it looks good, but I think I'm going to put some beads on there at the end. And yeah, so So all the regular stitching is done. Of course, it will need to be blocked. That does happen with needlepoint, but blocking is pretty easy. Basically, you just dampen it, and I pin it to a cork board and let it dry, and yeah, you just reshape it and then pin it. And especially with something little like this, it's not that hard to do. Okay, I worked on my Sweet William, my Riola's kit this week. So this is just a Riola's kit using, the kit fabric, the kit floss, which is the acrylic wool blend floss. We've talked about it a lot of times. Some people do not like it at all. I do. I think it's really pretty. It is a different texture than cotton floss that you may be used to. It's fuzzier, more kind of like a yarn. And it comes carded like this. It's a 1 strand, so you have to double it. Most of these stitches are 2 strands. And yeah. So I worked on this flower basically. I would say I'm about like halfway done in like length of the pattern, but I think I'm more than halfway done because I have all that done. So I just have this, this section. So I think I'm way more than halfway done because the top part is more sparse in stitching. I think it's so pretty. It's on kind of like a fiddler's cloth. And then I have a FlossTube friend who I'm going to be sending the pattern to. And she doesn't ever get these kits because she's allergic to wool. So there really is no point for her to spend the money on a kit like that because she would have to throw away the floss because she can't even really touch it without getting itchy. So I said when I was done with this, I would send it to her. I'm just going to send like a little sample of each color so she can match it. And yeah, so I'm going to be sending that to Dawn when I'm done. So every time I post it on here, she's like, oh yay, you're working on that, because she knows when I get it done, she's going to get the pattern. So yeah, so I feel like I kind of have to get it done. I definitely have plans to get that done this year. So Dawn, you'll get it hopefully by the end of the year. Okay, so I worked on my aerial conversion of the Mediterranean Mermaid by Nora Corbett, which this is the original pattern. I feel like mine is getting to look nothing like that, but that is the chart that I'm using. And I am converting her to be Ariel the Little Mermaid with flounder. And I think this week I mostly just worked on more hair. And I'm still not done with the hair. But what have I got hanging off here? I sometimes leave my backstitch threads like kind of parked instead of cutting them off, because I'm going to be getting back to them. But I think she's looking really good. So I kind of really want to get into that tail, but I want to get the hair done, and I'm going to have to get her arms done. Because that's, at this point, those are more of like the chore part, and then doing the tail is going to be more of the exciting part. But I do think she's looking really good. I'm very excited about her. This is on Opal Stitches fabric. It's a Jobelan, I think, and I'm not loving it. And I don't know if it's because I don't love Jobelan. if it's just this piece, it's a little bit too loosey-goosey for me, and you can tell that it is just by how much fringe on the edge, you know, has come off, how loose the weave is. But it's fine, and it's very pretty. I just don't love working on it, to be quite honest. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if I have any more Jobelan in my stash. If I pull out another one, if I have that same feeling about that, and then I'll know, like, Jobelan is not my favorite. I mean, I know I love Lugana, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. And then the last whip I worked on, you guys have not seen for quite a while, but you know, it's summer, it's getting to be July and August, and I like stitching on mermaids in July and August, so I pulled out my Bella Filipina, Enchantress of the Abyss, that I started last summer. And for those of you guys who have been watching me for a long time, you know that this is the piece that I had the big saga about getting a fabric. So I found like a perfect fabric as far as the color that I had in my mind, and I am not always that stuck, I'm not always that stuck on a color, but for this chart, for whatever reason, I had a vision in my head and I couldn't get out of it. And I found a piece of fabric when I was in Las Vegas last summer, at shoot, what is the Vegas shop? I can't remember now. Stitcher's Paradise. I was at Stitcher's Paradise with Stacy and Reagan, and actually no, I don't think Reagan came. So I was just there with Stacy, and I found this gorgeous piece of fabric, and I got it. It was very dark linen, and I got it even though I was like iffy about linen, and then I got home and I tried stitching on it. I was like, no way, I can't see it. It's too dark, it's too linen, and I will never stitch on this. So then I went on this quest to find the right color fabric, and I couldn't find it, and then I went on a quest to dye it, and it was coming out too late when I was trying the even weave. So finally I had to go to an Aida, and I was able to dye the fabric the way I wanted it, which is this. So yeah. So I worked on my mermaid, and I worked on basically her face and hair. I had some, she's so pretty. There were still some like open spots on her neck and stuff, so I filled those in. I got a lot of the hair done. Most of this is stitched. There may be, I think this section up here is missing stitches, but a lot of it is beaded. So but yeah, she's really pretty. She's Bella Filipina. And then I worked some on her silk flowers here. So very pretty. Okay, so that was all my whips for the week. And as I said, I did have a new start because I got the kit for Stitching the Situation. So I talked about this a lot last week. And I do have to say, I have to give such a big thank you to everybody who responded to my video last week with offers to stitch on this project with me. So as I explained last week, Stitching the Situation is an art project that if you're interested in seeing more, it's Stitching the Situation. There's a Facebook group, there's a Instagram post, there's a website. The website doesn't have a lot of pictures, but it does have like the information about the project. And it was an artist who lost their uncle to COVID and started this like big community project. And it's basically, it's a stitched block for each day of the pandemic. So I don't know when it started. I think it was January 20th, something like that. January 20th, 2020, I think was the first case or something in the US. So it starts from that date. And so each block, so the first several months are all on one big banner. And each block is composed of a blue section and a red section. And so each block is a day. And the blue section is the number of new cases that day, and the red section is the number of people who died that day. And from COVID. And it started out as kind of like her project, and then it became like a community project in, I think she's in the Boulder, Colorado area. And then it kind of expanded out. And so basically, if you're interested in stitching, then she'll send you a block a day. And so people have completed these blocks. There's people who never stitched before and decided they wanted to be part of this project. And learn to cross stitch on a block. And there's some really gorgeous ones. I don't know how many are done. I want to say somewhere between 30 and 50 blocks are completed, but they're from kind of more the beginning of the pandemic when it was smaller amounts. So I put in my name to stitch, and I got information back from her and everything. And I told her that my mom had passed away from COVID on January 29th, 2021. And she wrote back and she said she would love to give me that block, but she needed me to know that that block is about 170,000 stitches. So when I first heard that, I completely like panicked. I'm like, there's no way I can do that. It's going to take me 10 years. You know, I have so many projects. I mean, obviously, you know, that size project, if you were stitching monogamously, I mean, I stitch pretty much every day. And if I was stitching monogamously, yes, I could get it done within a year. But not the way I stitch, and not with all my projects and my FlossTube channel. I mean, it wouldn't be a very exciting FlossTube channel to watch me stitch on this one project for every week. So yeah, and I just wouldn't do it. That's just not how I like to do things. So I at first panicked quite a bit, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, calm down, Carla. You have a FlossTube channel. You have a wonderful FlossTube community. All of you guys who are watching me, and this is supposed to be a community project. So make it a traveling project. Stitch my part, send it out. People who want to stitch some kind of icon or something can do that. People who want to stitch background can do that. And I have to say, I talked about this last week, and so many people wrote back and said, yes, please put me on your list. And, you know, so anybody who didn't already tell me, go ahead and let me know if you're interested in stitching on it, and I'll put you on the list. I don't know how I'm going to be sending it out yet. Obviously, I want to finish like my part first, or at least a good portion of my part, and then I will be sending it out. So I was thinking about that a lot this week, and I did a lot of prep for it. I actually got these 3 notebooks that I'm going to send one with the project when I send it, so that everybody who's stitching on it, I mean, you don't have to write anything, but they definitely want everybody's name, and there's a log that is supposed to go with the project if you send it to other people. But I thought that notebook would be good too. So if you have thoughts that you want to write down about stitching on the project, or what it means to you, or why you wanted to stitch on it, or if you have, you know, lost somebody with COVID or whatever, you know, it can go in there. I'm going to write on the first couple pages my story, and yeah. So anyway, so I got the project. It is on Aida, and okay, so let's talk about this. This is horrible Aida. And the artist, because I saw somebody post on I think it was on Instagram, that they posted that they just started it, and like, okay, they have to use really small lengths because the Aida is shredding their fabric, and shredding their thread. And the artist even wrote on there, and she was like, yeah, this is really stiff Aida. She goes, I've never worked with anything that's stiff. And she said she's sorry, but because of the volume of fabric that they need for this and everything, this is the only thing that she could find that she could get in bulk and really big. So it is super stiff. But she also said that once you stitch the outline, because it gets sent, I'll show you in a second, it gets sent with the red and blue threads to do the outlines of the boxes, and then the fabric is marked with one of those washable pens, so that you are stitching the exact outline, because the size is important, because the number of stitches on each block correlates to the number of cases or the number of people who died, etc. So it's really important that those stitches are all represented. But she said that once you stitch in that outline, then you can wash it a couple times and it'll loosen up. So, okay. So I got the kit, meaning I got the fabric and the flosses, and I just need to show you how big this is, because it blows my mind. So when you think about the fact that these are people, this is the number of lives, right? So this is my block, and I don't even know if, okay, this is the red part, which I did actually already do the outline, and I did charted a sentiment. Hold on. So you can, I don't even know if you can see just how stiff, and this is difficult fabric to work on, which I shouldn't be telling you, right? I want you guys to stitch on it with me, and I'm telling you this is awful fabric, but it is loosening up as I work on it. Okay, so this is the red section. This is 3,604 stitches, 3,604 people who died on this day, and my mom was one of them. That's why I put in this little broken heart that I made. There's one stitch that's a different color. That's to represent my mom. So I finished the outline and obviously the wording on this. And this is my chart, you know. Basically, you get a big blank piece of canvas and you can put on it whatever you want. The only thing they ask is that you stitch the date on it somewhere. So I've charted the date. Using this font, January 29th, 2021. So that is going to go at the bottom, and I think Stacy wants to stitch that. And then I charted just these words, which are just, you know, basically little block letters. And so this needs to be filled in. I don't know if I'm going to continue filling in the background, or if I'm going to, maybe when I send this off, if I'm sending it to somebody that I know wants to stitch background, I'll just send this color with it. And then, I started the blue border. And then the wreath that I've charted is about 120 square. So, but this is like 400 and something across. So 120 square would be like, maybe that big. So I'm not sure if I should do it right in the middle, or if I should do it by here. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, because this is just so big. It's just so big. So anyway, once I get the border stitched, then I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and wash it to loosen it up some. It was really stiff. I couldn't be, also because it was in the corner, I couldn't put it in my hoop, which is my normal way of stitching, but it was okay. I actually used a sewing method on this, which I never do, but the fabric was stiff enough that I was able to do it, and actually it made it easier to use a sewing method. So I've been using a sewing method, an in-hand kind of sewing method, using this on this fabric just because it's so stiff. And because it's on the edge and stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen when I get more to the middle to do my wreath. But anyway, so that came. I did this much yesterday. So you can see, like, it's calculated really, like, exact so that you have the number that was reported. And like this. So this was, you know, 3,604 people. So those are the 4 extra stitches down there. And yeah, so that's that project. So I did work on it, as I said. I did work on that yesterday. So, so yeah, anybody that, if you're interested in stitching on it, please let me know. As I said to people, I commented back on everybody that, you know, I have no idea how long it's going to take before this goes on the road. You know, and then I don't know how long each person will have it, because there's not going to be any like rules or anything, right? I mean, it's not like you must stitch on it for this many hours. You know, so if you want to put 10 stitches on it, that's fine. If you have a whole picture that you want to stitch on it, that's great. My only requests are going to be that if you get it, please stitch on it. You know, like, don't set it aside for 3 months because somebody else could be stitching on it. So stitch on it what you want to stitch on it. You know, not like you have to do it every day, but, you know, stitch on it regularly while you have it. When you're done, then we'll figure out if I'm going to ask you to pass it on to another person or pass it back to me. And then the other thing that I request, which I hope is not offensive to anybody, but if you want to put a prayer or a poem or something like that, that's 100% great. My mom was a woman of faith, but she was Jewish and I am Jewish, so I would please ask that if you're going to put something that is religious in nature, that it be non-denominational. And I don't mean non-denominational Christian, I mean non-denominational. In other words, it's great to talk about God, but please don't talk about Christ or Jesus or put crosses on it, because that is just not something that is part of my faith, and it's not, wasn't part of my mom's. So that's what I would ask. Unless you're doing something like the coexist sign, which has everything. If you want to do everything, that's fine. But just nothing that is Christian on here. But you know, there's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament that will suffice as well. So if that's your jam, if you want to do something like that, then I would be happy to have that on this piece. So yeah, so that's where this stands. I don't have any idea what it's going to look like when it's done, because it's going to have the work of so many people on it, which I think is really one of the most exciting things about this. You know, this piece is meant to, and I'm taking this from the artist who developed this. It's, you know, it's meant to be a way to work through grief, a way to work through the feelings that the pandemic and everything that has been, how it's affected people's lives. There's so many people that have been affected by this disease, and again, this is one day, and we're closing in on 1,000 days, something like that. And this isn't like the biggest day. This is a big day. You know, this was a big kind of jump in January of 2021. It was right after vaccines came out and were starting to be administered to the elderly. My mom actually got her first vaccine a week before she came down with COVID. There was a big surge in January. There was an even bigger surge like in March 2021. So the people of those days are even bigger. So yeah. Anyway, so that project came in, and I don't even want to say excited to work on it. I mean, I feel like it's important to work on. It isn't necessarily enjoyable. It's important, and I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I'm feeling about it. So I am, oh, and then I pull flosses. So I'm doing this wreath. So this is from an Etsy shop, and I'm showing it because it's like, you guys aren't going to be able to steal it. But anyway, I charted this R in a wreath. And that's going to be, you know, the main thing that I'm stitching. I'm going to stitch the R in an étoile. I just didn't pull it yet out of my tin. And then this is going to be the background color. And I think I'm just going to, I'm going to take and stitch like, put the wreath in like a square block. So this will be all the fill-in. This is a Needle Necessities Threadworks color. This is the only over dyed, and I rinsed this and soaked it for days. I was really surprised actually when I first rinsed it, a lot of color came out, but then I rinsed it long enough that it's color fast now. So this is going to be one of the main colors, and then, you know, all of the other ones that I pulled. So hopefully it'll look good in the blue tones, because everything in that big box has to be in shades of blue. Okay, so that is the stitching the situation. I will be updating you on this regularly. You know, obviously if I stitch on it, then I'll show it to you each week, but as I send it around to people and get it back, then I will be updating on that. Okay, so other than that, plans coming up, I have 2 small starts planned for August, and I pulled the flosses. I'll show you in a second. And I'm kind of doing them both as like sal-ish type things. And when I say a sal, for me, now I know, like, you know, when the designers do a sal, whether it's a mystery sal or not mystery sal, you know, they're giving out pieces and everybody's supposed to be stitching along on the same thing, and that's kind of the idea of the sal. For me, when I say I'm doing a sal, it's basically like I have a theme, I create a hashtag, and then, you know, if you want to participate in it, just, you know, post pictures and use that hashtag. And I'm terrible at posting pictures. I usually post 1 or 2 and then I forget about it. But I have done a Black Cat birthday sal, hashtag Black Cat birthday sal, every year since I started stitching, which is, so I did it in 2019, 2020, 2021. And so this is going to be my 4th year. And basically, it's stitch on a black cat. I have a black cat. I like black cats. I thought it was a good way to do a birthday sal, because since my birthday's in August, it's kind of right before Halloween, so it lends itself to a lot of Halloween patterns and everything. So what I chose this year, now the first year I did Nora Corbett's Red Kitten, and I did it like within the month. I think I was done with it by the end of August. Second year I chose Night Walk Down. I still haven't finished that one. And then last year, because I hadn't finished Night Walk Down, I wanted to do something really small, and I did that little August black cat sipping a drink with an umbrella, and so it was tiny, and I was able to finish it and get it framed. So this year, I want to do something smallish again, because I just don't want this to be a project that's hanging on forever. This is called Midnight Meow by Nora Corbett, and it is a free chart, or was a free chart, I don't know. I got this at the Stitcher's Paradise in Las Vegas. When I was standing there at the register, and I was kind of just trying to look at charts and stuff. Of course, they have a lot of shop models, and I saw this as a shop model. I'm like, that's cute, I want that. And she goes, oh, that's actually a free chart from Nora Corbett, and she gave it to me. But it's not on the Nora Corbett website, so I guess you have to get it from a shop, and it's not new. Does it have a date on it? I don't see a date. I don't see a date. But as I said, a year ago it was at Stitcher's Paradise you could get this. So I don't know. If you order from them, maybe you can ask them if they still have it and if they can throw it in. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you, because as I said, it is a free chart. And so it's like a black cat with bat wings. So I decided to do him in shades of blue. These kinds of things I very rarely follow the instructions. And then I decided to do it on this piece of sparkly Aida, and I think this is think this is either a 16 or 18 count. But it's a small enough chart, it's gonna just fit right in one of these, you know, little sections. I got this, I might do it, I don't know, I'll do it where there's a little bit more modeling maybe. So either there or there probably. This was a little gift from Stacy and Reagan when they went back to Vegas for a competition. They stopped in at Citrus Paradise and they just looked in the fabrics and they found a couple pieces in the remnants that they thought I would like because it's sparkly and it's a very light, pretty blue. So I'm gonna do it on this. And then I had these little bobbins that somebody gave me a couple years ago, and I'm not a bobbinator, but I wanted to use them because they're so cute. And I realized I have all of these punch tools and stuff that I've gotten for working on my golden books, and I'm like, you know, I don't have to use it as a bobbin, I can just punch and use it as a floss tag. So that's what I did. So these are the colors I'm going to use. I mean, obviously the cat is black, and then his eyes are green, so I pulled a couple of these little greens, and then I'm using kind of this satiny floss, this Fiesta rayon floss for inside the wings. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet for beads, but I'll just pull something when I get there. So that will be hashtag Black Cat Birthday Sal, if you would like to join in on that. And I will be starting this on August 1st. Or first week of August. I don't know what day August 1st is, but. And then my second August start, because my birthday is, because I'm a Leo, each year on my birthday, I start a lion pattern. And I've done that for 3 years too. So this year I decided to do this little lion Biscornu. I've never done a Biscornu before, so I thought it'd be fun to do one. And I found this little lion pattern from Tiny Modernist, which I thought was cute. And my friend Dawn, I was talking about it on the channel. She's like, I've never done Biscornu either. Let's do Biscornu together. So we're doing a hashtag Biscornu beginner Sal. And I'm going to be doing the lion for that. And I'm going to do it on this piece of Picture This Plus Aida. And this, I don't know, it's Carnival or Confetti or something. I don't think I knew what it was even when I put it on in my storage, because the tag came off. But it's just a little piece of kind of a peachy mottled fabric. And I also just pulled flosses and kind of just, basically I'm using the colors called for as a guide, but I just didn't feel like going and pulling the exact colors. So and I decided to do this in some of my overdyes because, you know, I have them, I should use them. So I'm going to be using this charcoal. That's a Weeks. It's called Blackboard. This is a Weeks called Blaze. I've never used these before. I know some people don't like this brand, but I've never used it. This is a color in cotton. Don't think it has a name. This is a color in cotton called Salmon. This is a color in cotton called Calypso. This is probably Queen City Dyers, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I pulled two variegated, and I don't know if these are DMC or no name old flosses, but I pulled those because I couldn't find enough of like the greens that I liked, so I figured, you know what, I'll just do a variegated. So anyway, these are the colors I'm using for this Biscornu, and I'm going to be starting that in August as well. I don't know if I'll start it before my birthday or on my birthday, but I'm going to start in August, and it's going to be hashtag Biscornu beginner. Get in there. Okay, so I think that that's like pretty much it as far as like plans and stuff. I mean, I think these lines are pretty cute. I've done, let's see, I did the Lion of Judah the first year, and then I did the Satsuma Street Lion, and then last year I just did a little Mill Hill Ornament Lion. So yeah, so it's time to do Biscornu. Okay, I think that that is it for this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Don't forget to get the codes for the Zoom, and I hope that you join me next week for the Zoom. And if you are interested in stitching on the Stitching the Situation project or my block, I mean, obviously you can contact the artist and get your own block if you want. I'm sure that you could get a smaller one. This size project, I couldn't do it without the community. So I'm really glad that so many of you want to work on it with me. I am heartwarmed to think how this project is going to grow. So that should be pretty interesting. But if you want to, I segued myself off there. If you are interested in stitching on this project with me, then please let me know, and I'll put your name on the list. And then, you know, as we get closer to actually having to send stuff out, we'll work about logistics and where people are and how it will be best to send it around. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you're staying cool if it's too hot. I hope you're staying warm if it's too cold. If it's perfect, I hope you're going out and enjoying that perfect temperature. And until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Carla. Bye-bye.